We would have killed the baby. People, exes would have just damn killed it. Kill that baby, shit. I want to go to college. Kill that baby. I'm going to college. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people do not care. Hold on. And I'm going to move this. Why is this here? Okay. Oh, I got it. Hold 1 second. We're just adjusting this, y'all. We had a little bit to do. I want to move you. No. Right? And turn it. Oh, shit, I broke it. I'll have to buy another one. Oh, this was good to me as well. Okay, well, I can switch stands. Life is too short. Thank God for white people. I love them. Don't you love white people? I love white people. White people just, they do everything
I
right.
was like, I don't like women all week.
White people do everything you need them to do. It's only black people
Hey
that.
guys,
White people stick together. If we would just copy white people,
I've
like,
been a white
get.
woman all
I know that's why
week.
I'm friends with you. You were a white woman. I met you at a Republican event. Said, "Damn, who's this black woman
Huh?
trying to have consciousness at a white Republican event on January 6th of all days? That was a day to sell out. You should have been getting arrested at the Capitol. I'm not gonna tell her who it is, so I could like out you. Then you wouldn't get any more. All your liberal friends would leave you. Oh, y'all, we're gonna be talking. We're talking about racist Remy Carter. Remy means to like, and forgive me, I am not crying over Jimmy Carter being gone. I mean, he lived 100 years. And yeah, a lot of you that weren't alive when Jimmy Carter, black people got fucked when Jimmy Carter was president. We really did. Black people got dogged. We got dogged the whole time that Jimmy Carter was president. Black people didn't get shit. Black people got fucked when Jimmy Carter was president. I remember it vividly. I remember all of it. Jimmy Carter was a goddamn letdown. He was the precursor to Obama. Jimmy Carter, next to Clinton, was the last white Democratic president that didn't have to do shit for black people. And Biden basically, y'all should know by now, that's like a person that's gotten an STD from the same person 3 times. Now, either you like doctor's visits and shit, or you want a new pap smear or something, you like doing biological tests on your body, or either you like keep your clothes on. So, come on, come in the room. We're later than what we thought, but it was cold. I have my electric blanket. I may wrap myself up in it. I am really, 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 really. Look at this. Who is this person saying this stupid stuff? Oh, this person's talking about Uncle Ruckus. Um, get off my channel, stupid coon, dumb coon. Hide from this channel. Go away. Good. We'll never see you again. Um, if you don't like my opinion, imagine I don't like you. I mean, this is a lot more serious. I mean, I don't like dumbass black people. You know what? I wish we could put them in that prison up in New York and see a lot of these people run their mouths. There are a lot of dumb young black folk, man. Y'all are begging for people to string you up. Uh, and so, Boomer X, are you almost ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, but Boomer X reflects on bigot Jimmy Carter. Okay, and we can even talk a little bit about California. We can do a little bit of that. Oh my God, California. Um, hold on. Jimmy Carter. No, we're gonna go in on Jimmy Carter tonight. I mean, I am talking about Jimmy Carter tonight. We're talking about. I mean, my ass wasn't out in the cold for nobody. Had my mother had a funeral, she would have had to bury herself. It was cold. I was not going to do that. White woman to you, Brother Hannibal. I mean, I appreciate that sacred greeting. I mean, I wish Emmett Till, my cousin, had lived to see this. That we're saying white woman in 2024. Next year will make 70 years since Emmett Till got lynched. Uh, and but the real deal is that Emmett Till was really screwing those women. It was more than high and by baby. They found this little black boy was doing more at home than they were, and they were married to him. That's another story. People don't talk about it. Emmett Till was wanking those white when they loved it. I said, this boy is 12 doing more than the grown white man. This has to stop. That's what really happened. Emmett Till got himself some, but it was the wrong sum to get. But you know what? From the look of college athletes and other black men that get a little bit of money, they just have to pick the most dangerous white women. They don't do like Meghan Markle. Like sometimes black women marry up. Black men just get somebody white. And I was thinking, damn, if I had to be with a white, all the harassment and shit, and getting with the woman who can't groom your kid's hair and shit, at least she should have some money for all the hate I'm gonna get for being with her ass. I'm just saying. Moderators, you know your duties. We have an unknown sister. We have Boomer X and we have an unknown sister. She's the wing woman. And now that I have everything set up in spite of my damn my stand breaking, that's okay. I'm gonna get a metal one. I'm tired. Welcome. This is finally, I've had this posted for weeks on the Boomer thing. All kinds of stuff happened. People mess with their phone. I had to get a new router. Blah, 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 blah. But we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here. And Brother Jackson, you're welcome to also come into Pat Talk. I see we have a relative of Barack Obama, uh, brother Dunham. We actually have a relative of Ofaga on the thing. You can tell them what I said at the family reunion. Um, yes, everybody, come in, come in, come in, come in. I even have some water, and let me have some ginseng so I can have a natural high. That cannabis really got me on the DrRandy thing. If you guys are getting high, it's stupid. I mean, when I couldn't remember what I was about to say, can you remember it? Can you imagine if you get high and you're with a woman and you call her the other name, you wonder why you're in a fight all the time? Don't get high. Be sober. The Bible even says, be soberly minded. I would remind everyone that when we're not doing common street parlance in the vernacular of Black Americans, you can join us for Salt Ministry tomorrow. I will be talking about, the topic is Heaven on My Mind or something like that. And we're doing our series Message to the Black Americans from a Black nationalist biblical Christian perspective. Yours truly doing the talking. Without ado, let me see, it's at 1 minute after 11. Let me have a cup of this
Oh, sure.
ginseng. This is some good stuff here. I don't see why anybody drinks. There's so many natural energizers that is so much better than the little cheap drugs. Plus, there's no fentanyl in this. At least if it is, I don't know. Tastes good too. Ginseng has an interesting taste. White women taste better. Psych. That was a bad joke. Okay. Okay, and Brother Mark, you're in California. Brother Mark, if you want, uh, do me a favor. Um, do me a favor. Hey, um, unknown sister, it would be nice if we had Mark on here because he's in LA with the smoke. It would be nice to have a conversation on that. Tell me
Yes.
something. Hey, Mark, text me your number. I'm going to call you and we're going to bring you into this so you can be in this. We want somebody, another person from California talking. And of course, yes, we'll be talking about a range of things, but we want to hear from a boomer. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Carter's ass tonight. Um, I'm waiting for your text, brother. Tell me your number so I can call you from another number so you can vocally be in on the call. Are you sending me that number? Okay, and be like an Asian that's in America to replace black people. Do it, make it snappy. Don't do like brothers and sisters. We're gonna wait to come together when they come for the cattle cars to take us off to concentration camps. That's well, man. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna be black and united now. Psych. Can you imagine black folk if we were in a death camp? Black folk would be fighting over. I want to be right next to the gas. I don't want secondhand poisonous gas going into my lungs. And they wouldn't take me. I'm riding first class to my death. And, or, well, you know what? White genocide's just abortion for black adults. You know, there'd be some excuse. You know how black folk make excuses. You, black folk and excuses. So we're going to add one more person. Okay, here we go. I'm almost there, brother. Brother, 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 brother. Okay. Uh-oh. Here we go. All right. White woman.
Why
Okay.
are you?
We're ready. We've got two people from California that are experiencing the fires, and we have a boomer. Now, by a show of hands, and by the way, show the white part. Don't offend me by having to show the backside of your head. hmm Oh my God. Yeah. No, 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 no. Who's this person named Ace? And I think Ace is ass. ACE is ASS. Thank you. Get off my platform. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of fun. People who can't handle it, get the hell off of the platform. Uh, just go, 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 go. Now, look, we have two people in California. They're working. They don't want their identities known. And we have a boomer. He doesn't want his identity known either. You know, they mess with your social security and all. You don't get your Section 8. And they went through COINTELCOUNTERPRO. So they have a lot of uh, trauma and so forth. So since no, okay, and I'm going to ask people, there's 17 people on one platform. There are 38 on another. And some people got off of this one. I don't care. Hey, Reparations Nation. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Carter, California fires. We could talk about white hatred. And we could talk about black inactivity. It all comes in together. But, you know, we're going to start with you. Boomer X, take us back. We're going back to 1976. January, when Jimmy Carter, almost, wow, 49 years ago, walked down Pennsylvania Avenue with his wife, Rosalind. I don't know if she got her clothes from Filene's basement or somewhere, but it wasn't really fashionable, not like Melania Trump. She knows when to take her clothes off, and she knows how to put some nice clothes on. That's something I'm gonna just say, and I'm gonna have a whole lot of fun. Um, and so I'm looking at this, and I see Brother Claude. You're out there in California as well. Now, Brother Jimmy Carter, you're in your 70s.
Yeah.
What do you think about what do you think about Jimmy Carter? You can remember him being president. You can remember Harold Ford. I'm sorry, not Ford, Gerald Ford. Whereas Joe Biden would fall up the steps, he's not the first one. Um, there was Gerald Ford that would fall up and down, fall down and up the steps. At least he went both ways. Biden went both ways, but not in terms of falling down the stairs, unfortunately. Um, Jimmy Carter, because I saw all these black people crying, man. I would have thought that James Brown got hit by a Ku Klux Klan mobile or something. Was Jimmy Carter, was he the hope that black people looking for? You would have been what, almost in your 20s, late
Late
teens?
20s.
You're in your
Late,
20s.
late, late,
So Jimmy
late,
Carter,
late 20s.
what would you think about Jimmy Carter?
You got to remember, I was coming from a more, I guess, I hate to use this word, enlightened or radical point of view. I remember listening to his campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and he sounded, I said, wow, this guy sounds interesting.
He sounds
He
interesting.
sounded interesting. And I was lazy, I didn't get to vote. And I can remember just some of the policies. And let me just give you a quick disclaimer. I can remember a lot of the people, they said JC, Jimmy Carter, was Jesus Christ.
Jimmy Carter was Jesus Christ. Okay.
JC, Jimmy Carter. So, and I remember Farrakhan saying, hey, Jimmy Carter is not Jesus Christ. Usually people get into this looking for a savior. He's going to do this. He's going to do this. He's going to do this. And me, I studied the Congress and the Senate, so I knew that the United States government is like a big ship.
A big
Whoever
ship?
they ship,
SHIP? Okay.
SHIP. And
SHIP.
one person is not going to change the course.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that. So I had no illusions that he was going to come in and make breath fresh and,
Okay.
teeth white. So I was struck by his humility. He was a Sunday school teacher. Wow.
A lot of
He was from Georgia.
Sunday school teachers, a lot
Yeah.
of them molest kids. So that to
Yeah.
me was very, very concerned. Why old man
Now,
want to be teaching
now I
kids on
was
Sunday?
more drawn to his mother, Mrs. Lillian,
Mm.
and his brother, Billy.
Okay. The, the
So
the alcoholic.
Billy used to meet with the Libyans and they drink beer. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was just so hilarious. So I can remember in the Caribbean, a lot of the calypso singers, I forget what his name was. Everybody was chiding him on his stance on human rights. And everybody said, well, what about human rights here?
Mm. Human rights in America.
Yes. So as I said, I never, like, you won't hear me bashing a president whoever it is, past or present, because the judgment, that's their judgment. I felt, he made 100, and there was a soft spot in my heart because my parents would be in their hundreds.
Okay.
I'm approaching that age. So in terms of what he did for black people, I'm not of the opinion that a politician is going to do anything for black people that black people don't do for themselves.
Exactly.
So he didn't do this for us. He didn't do this for them. He's not supposed to. You're supposed to do it. See, and that's why I said, I'll probably disappoint a lot of people. So when he passed, I go to the Restore store with the Habitat for Humanity, and a lot of times you live long enough. Let me give you a story. I had a friend that was grown up in Brooklyn, and one of his neighbors was a mafia man. And and later in his life, he said, that guy was so nice to me. And he said, he used to give me $20 to start his car in the morning.
Hmm.
I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah. Well, now, yes, you are.
So
You are disappointing
yeah,
because
I'm not gonna bash you.
that's okay. Well, all right. That's why you're a boomer. Now we bash on this platform,
I understand.
and that's okay. Now let's shift to
Now, if you
something.
asked me 30 years ago,
No, no, but that's like
I'd have put all y'all on
that's like
play,
saying
But
toilet paper could wipe my ass 30 years ago, but it can't do it now. Well, what changed?
yeah,
Not toilet paper.
yeah. So
So I don't. I'm hearing you, but it's
no, that's not. No, that's it. I don't expect. And that's why I say I'm gonna be because I don't look. For all of my activism, and I'll tell a lot of people, I'll go toe to toe with anybody on activism. You go back to any of this, the stuff. I was there.
okay. All right.
I'm,
Forgive.
I'm, I'm, I'll give you what
Pause
Jose
for one second.
Rodriguez
I'm not
took.
questioning your credentials. We went to this
Yeah,
before, but
yeah.
I do want to do this. I want to shout out to Sister Star Thompson, a major
Okay.
supporter, and
Yeah.
don't worry, sister. Trolls are a lot of fun to me. I imagine blocking them from the platform is like shooting or catching a mouse in a trap. When I do, I pour
Right.
boiling water and put them down the garbage disposal. So, uh, ignorant people like boogers, you blow them off and put them in the
Yeah.
trash. So, thank you,
Yes.
Sister Star. You're wonderful. All the moderators are wonderful. And I'm not saying that you are wrong to have your perspective because I'm asking you.
Yeah.
And I'm not radical, but I remember things. And to me, like I said, if toilet paper could wipe your ass 30 years ago, it can
Yeah.
wipe it now.
Yeah.
If you could wipe your ass with toilet paper 50 years ago, you can wipe it now. And the same way that toilet paper has the same function. What is wrong morally, it, that's truly wrong, is always wrong. And so,
Okay.
what I want to say about Jimmy Carter, I'm happy he lived 100 years old. He had the complexion of, you know, a fish kill off when they put like poison in the water, like there's a chemical spill and all the fish. He was pale, scaly looking. I would have been assisted living too if I was that pale. Jimmy Carter, if you guys go to PBS and watch the American Experience, talk about Jimmy Carter. It's very delicate how Jimmy Carter did enough to be different, but not enough to be great when it comes down to black people. Okay, that's sort of not enough. And that is a failure of the boomers and the silent generation and all the others, is that we're willing to give people passes for not being all bad when we could have exemplary. We don't watch sports games to see a person that plays some good games. We expect a Michael Jordan. We expect a LeBron James. We expect a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We expect someone that is above board practically all the time to be great. If you're good some of the time, you're basically so-so. And this thing that I call among black people is minimalism. So if I paid child support once in a year, I'm not a total deadbeat. But damn it, most of the year you didn't pay. So that meant someone went without because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Or if you took your pills for 20 days in the month and didn't take it for 10, and the 10 you didn't was the days your period was running, you're likely to get pregnant. It nullifies the whole purpose of taking the pills in the first damn place. What's lacking for us is absolutes. When the Zionist people in Israel say they want all of Israel, they mean all. If black people had a nation the way we think, all would mean not having anything at all, but at least saying, well, we got some good maps. It's a fucked up way of thinking, and it permeates our group as a collective. and I'm not even saying do anything to anyone, but look, let's just be real. Jimmy Carter came into politics as a segregationist. Jimmy Carter transformed himself as a Southern moderate, which means a white person that supports institutional racism without overt, glaring anti black racism, which is what we have now. Jimmy Carter is a transitional figure from the in your face, nigga, 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 go back to Africa type politician to one that speaks in code, that does not do um, that does not do things. Lord Vega, Jesus loves the truth. Jesus hates lies. Jesus hates hypocrisy. Jesus hates fraud. Jesus hates when people try to smooth things over. Religion isn't a cloak to cover up evil. So if I called someone out for being a drug pusher, don't tell me about God loving me. Deal with the fact that that person's pushing dope in the community. And I would say if you're a Spanish speaking person's surname, all of those countries in Latin America have gross racial problems. And the Catholic Church hides it, and the evangelicals do too. They don't deal with the apartheid throughout South and Central America. I've seen it. So don't hide, don't fake. And using a white supremacist idol that people call Jesus to say we're not going to talk about justice and freedom is insane. You don't know who God is if you don't believe in freedom and justice. You're serving something other than God. And I believe many, many, many people are going to wake up in hell because they felt if we just don't say anything and we just live in a box religiously, things get better. Black people having any nominal freedom in this country came through a very violent civil war in which up to 1.2 million people died, a bunch of them on the battlefield. By the way, the people who spoke the most religiously were the pro-slavery people who had a religious defense that they use to this day to justify not just screwing blacks in America, but raping and destroying all the people in South and Central America, which is why a lot of people are up in America trying to replace us, because the very people that you go to church with and you rock and sway and sing songs with destroyed your countries. That's why folks are coming across the border. And that stuff that you gotten has been taken from our blood, sweat, and tears. So if anybody needs to be told that God loves you, I need to tell you, God surely loves you to allow people to come to this country, live good off the blood, sweat, tears, and the land of people like me who are of the indigenous people, not you Mongoloid and other people that are recent to the Americas, to show up and act like border crossed Jew. The first people here, and we've been put last. And God doesn't like it. And if you have the love of God inside of you, which you might, you'd understand what I'm saying. Never, ever, ever try to use God, religion, or the Bible to try to get us on this platform to not deal with racial and social inequity that we face. And you guys have a litany of dead leaders. Oscar Romero, the head bishop, he's a bishop in El Salvador, to the bishop that was murdered in Tegucigalpa, and all the little Roman Catholic priests that were killed over liberation theology. If liberation theology is for you, then we can certainly have black Christian theology for us. I thank you very much. Grow up and never try to tell us how to express ourselves. It's not tolerated. I would never tell people in Cuba that they should be controlled by America. And I have never allowed someone, Spanish speaker, Portuguese speaker, whatever people, to lecture us when we built this country. We built it, and yeah, you guys are getting jobs now because they want to get rid of us. You're participating in my genocide, talking to me about Jesus. You need to take a look in the mirror, and you need to read something other than a Bible. And I dare you, okay, you got my email. You're not Christian enough, you're not intelligent enough to debate or win. You will lose. Sometimes you need to learn how to listen. Need like, no speaking English time, and just listen to what we're talking about. I never go into anybody's space of any ethnic group and tell them how to discuss their problems. Okay, when I went to Greek Orthodox Church, I listened to the Greek and everybody else. Ethiopian, sit on the floor. In our spaces, respect us. Never ever try to use the. In fact, it's the Spanish-speaking world and the Italian-speaking world, the Catholic Church, that came up with the whole idea that justified exterminating black people for the expansion of the Catholic and later the baby Catholic churches, the Anglicans and all the others. Blood all over the books and everything else. And God's going to hold all of you guys accountable. Grow up. Now, forgive me, I just had to get that off my chest. Now, I'm going to talk about Jimmy Carter for a second because my boomer, of course, is disappointing me. That's why we have him here anyway. And
But
and
I
if
warned you.
and if Jimmy Carter were president right now, he'd be trying to get the people in California to conserve water. I mean, he was all thumbs as president. I mean, he bungled everything. I don't know. The only thing he got right was that he did give up power peacefully. He messed up with the hostages, but let's just do black people. Jimmy Carter won with 51% or less of the vote. Jimmy Carter got over 90% of the black vote in this country. Jimmy Carter used the same coalition of Boule, Negro preachers, black Masons, the same people that were pushing Come Swallow, was saying, go with this man. Don't worry, he's our cracker. We can handle him. And as soon as Jimmy Carter got power, Jimmy Carter brought in all the white good old boys. And in fact, one of the main people that fought for Jimmy Carter, Andrew Young, who did what Jimmy Carter's own drunk brother did, right? Talked to some Palestinians, some Jews got mad, and they fired Andrew Young. And I can go on and on. So many horrific things were going on happening to black people the whole time Jimmy Carter was there. The only difference between him and a more racist president is that Jimmy Carter did not say ugly words about people, but the policies were ugly. Jimmy Carter was, before Reagan's ass ever got to office, was taking an axe to programs that were put in that were meant to help black people. Over the objections of the Democratic Party, which at one point did try to do stuff for poor people. Jimmy Carter started talking about we need a balanced budget when they're talking about doing something to help black people. Balanced budget. Same way we hear now, we can't afford reparations, but we can give a lot to Israel and Ukraine that's unlimited. Don't give them a check, give them the checkbook. Give them the routing number. Give them the PIN number to the ATM card. Same thing that's happened. Let me just say this. Jimmy Carter was transitional. Jimmy Carter is the first new post civil rights consensus presidential type where they were able to destroy any aggressive political moves of blacks within the Democratic Party and get them to just go along with getting posts in the cabinet and getting some appointments. And Jimmy Carter is one of the first people to have regular parties with Negroes performing. So Negroes doing live music at the White House is probably the greatest accomplishment of Jimmy Carter's administration. It said black people could come and dance and make white folk feel good. What's the difference between that and the segregated Cotton Club? Really? Oh, look. So let's just do some things. Number one, and because I always talk about Jimmy Carter and human rights, that was the main thing he talked about. Jimmy Carter didn't do really that much at all for black people with human rights. We had problems with blacks having educational access the entire time Jimmy Carter was president. You had the problem with busing in Boston, in North Carolina, all over the country practically, right? Not only that, you had police brutality on steroids in places like Philadelphia. And New York, and then your Brooklyn, Boomer X, and in Chicago. You had in Atlanta all the black kids being murdered, and Jimmy Carter and them, they did very little about it. You had a lot of black political prisoners. Jimmy Carter's supposed to be different from Nixon, the same ones that put people like Assata Shakur and them on all these lists to be harassed. Jimmy Carter was telling Russia to let its political prisoners go while ignoring Assata Shakur, Matula Shakur, and all the others. Jimmy Carter did not look out for black people. When Jimmy Carter was president, the Ku Klux Klan openly murdered black people in broad daylight, and blacks and others, in Greensboro, North Carolina. When Jimmy Carter was president, you had people who were defending themselves in a town that where my family had a lot of people victimized. In Wilmington, North Carolina, armed white racial terrorists were trying to kill black people in a church in Wilmington. Jimmy Carter didn't do anything. The black people who fought back were jailed, not the white people attacking black folks in the church. A lot of black people were killed. When Jimmy Carter was president, the United States violated its own agreement not to give certain sorts of weapons and buy chrome and other things, commodities from the it's called the Unilateral Declaration of Independent State of Rhodesia, now called Zimbabwe, where you had a white supremacist government that was practicing genocide. When Jimmy Carter was president, they were developing germ warfare to kill black people here in the D.C. area at Fort Detrick. The anthrax that killed people less than a mile from my house in Brentwood. That anthrax was developed to kill black people, and it killed blacks right here in Washington D.C. I know one of them. Jimmy Carter did not look out for black people. Jimmy Carter supported covert wars. So he supported apartheid South Africa. The South Africans did all kinds of heinous things. Jimmy Carter also helped bring down the democratically elected government in Nigeria, and particularly because the president of Nigeria criticized Jimmy Carter for calling black people a problem. That's right. Jimmy Carter trashed black people to the president of Nigeria. And when the president of Nigeria says, how can you call the people who are key to your country a problem? Jimmy Carter didn't like him within no time. Dude was gone. In fact, two of the better leaders that Africa's ever produced, Shagari and Tolbert of Liberia, Shagari of Nigeria, both of them were deposed and Tolbert was executed. Jimmy Carter, could have fixed it and didn't. His administration didn't. The problems that you see in Ethiopia today, in which millions of people have died, Jimmy Carter and them was supporting the Somalis against the Ethiopians. These people were on some real BS. When Jimmy Carter was in, the incarceration rates of blacks went up. Under Jimmy Carter, it began to increase the amount of drugs being brought into black areas to fund the black book activities of the CIA. Jimmy Carter wasn't looking out for us. They began to knock down public housing, which is illegal, privatize it. That destruction didn't start with Reagan. That destruction started with Jimmy Carter, dismantling the war on poverty, not looking out, not trying to continue. We had 8 years of Republicans saying no to the very things that Dr. King and others bled, suffered, and died for. And when people tried to get back to it, Jimmy Carter didn't even work with the Democratic Party to get this done. He blocked it. Jimmy Carter, at the same time, didn't think there's money for programs for our community or our people, expanded the military budget. He was weak, he was ineffective, and I like heat. 55 degrees is not warm enough for some of us to sleep right. And I could go on and on that Jimmy Carter did not look out for us. He built some houses for some black people after he left. That's great. Shit. You could have done something about the Community Reinvestment Act to put some teeth in it where we wouldn't need you to give us homes. So you can build like 20 homes here or there and we feel good. We would have more people with access to credit. Jimmy Carter made no major substantive changes on behalf of black people. Even the one bill that passed is called the Humphrey Hawkins Full Employment Act. Black people have never been fully unemployed. In fact, employment has got worse under him, and it stayed worse. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying he's no different. It's sort of like, on average, your bowel movement's going to be brown. If you get a green or yellow one, it's still going to be shit. So we got a black one. It's no good. Jimmy Carter was a failure as a president. And from Jimmy Carter, and let me just say to you, the last time that black folk halfway were going to do something was when Jimmy Carter was running for president in 1980, and the black grassroots got angry and went after the Jimmy Carter campaign people for being racist and not even trying to have any kind of black agenda of any kind. In fact, in fact, the same people, Atlanta, the King family, and others, all got with the Democrats against black people. What Jimmy Carter's election did consolidated black people as basically a bottom bitch wing of the Democratic Party. And I could go on about this. I'm not going to. But just awful things happened the whole time in Philly, in Boston, in D.C., in Atlanta, in Chicago, and Los Angeles when the police were still just terrorizing black people under Gates and others. The Justice Department of Jimmy Carter didn't do much. Black political prisoners, black wealth, all of that. It was terrible. People have forgotten because he lived long. I don't feel sorry that you're old. I feel sorry that you're still alive. Comments, panelists, California brother, I guess Smoke Out. How are you, Smoke Out?
Uh, I'm about as well as I can be. Uh, yeah, I started getting sick as soon as the fire started.
Okay, speak louder, bring it up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just bring your volume all the way up.
Okay. All right. Is that better?
Yeah, and you're in the middle of the fires and all that, and Gavin Newsom. Oh, I left something out. You guys forget Jimmy Carter's sister, the one supposed to be so close to God, got with a homosexual drug addict child molester by the name of Jim Jones for them to enslave black people in Guyana and mass murder them, and it stayed covered up. Jimmy Carter and them used to hang out with Jim Jones and them. Real talk. Real talk. They never got to the bottom. That's like 900 dead black folks happened on Jimmy Carter's watch. Was there any special fund or compensation or help for the people? Hell no.
Nope.
Jimmy Carter let the Cubans come in to destroy the blacks in southern Florida. Boomer X gave them money and everything. Let them bring drugs, let them bring everything. The black people have never recovered. Whole black communities destroyed. Illegal migrant style. On a Democratic president's watch, he didn't say nigga. I'd rather you say nigga and treat me right. Say the word. Treat me right. I don't care what you say. I care how you treat me. We weren't treated right. And someone wrote down, he's before Obama. You're exactly right. Out of the Jimmy Carter presidency, when Jimmy Carter lost because black folks were throwing bricks and bottles at his limo when he went down to Florida, where the Latinos were just murdering black people, Latino cops and others, when the blacks rose up, Jimmy Carter didn't do anything to help the black folks in Miami out. He basically went down there and was surprised people threw bricks and bottles at his car. Jimmy Carter was a racist, plain and simple. Just because you're not a really out there racist doesn't mean that you ain't one. And I'm not expecting anything from anyone, but what's disgusting to me is when I start hearing tenderheartedness around from people who know it is like it wasn't all about that much. I didn't say I hate the man, just saying, huh, wasn't much. More the same. Nothing that's different. If we can have a Jim Brown, or I'll even go more moderate, if you can have a Governor Bradley like you did of New Jersey, a white governor who truly tried to help everybody, in particular, was concerned about how black people were treated. And they wouldn't let him run for president because he liked blacks too much. You have to hate black people to make it in America. Jimmy Carter pandered to white hatred to build his political career, and once he got into power, made certain that he didn't do too much for black people to make certain that he was relevant. And this is a whole bunch of stuff that's crazy. This is really ridiculous. So you got black massacres. You had all kinds of really bad things happen to our people when Jimmy Carter was president. And he didn't really say much. He stayed out of it. Even Kennedy, certain people could speak up. Jimmy Carter played it cool because he didn't want to lose the very same white folk who thought he was lame. Not that he's supposed to lose power over black people, but you know what? If Donald Trump can come up with a proposal for black people, and he's a total racist, say many of us, and Jimmy Carter couldn't do anything specifically for black people, and he's the saint. You know, people think we're dumb as hell, and they may be right. That a Democrat can be a complete devil, and he's a saint, and a Republican could be okay, and they're the devil. That's crazy. And I want to mention that out of the Jimmy Carter losing in 1980 to Ronald Reagan, they blamed the very same black people that didn't benefit from Jimmy Carter for his loss. And they resoluted within the Democratic Party to stop doing stuff for black people. Black people need to be punished for the Democrats losing. So they stepped up the program of punishing black people as a collective for them not winning in national elections. That started with Jimmy Carter. He never spoke against it. He never said anything about how Clinton and them created the Democratic Leadership Council, whatever, Leadership Conference. And that was to make sure that all the white Southern governors, the leaderships, Democrats, make certain that nobody ever got power black within the Democratic Party. So blacks would always be powerless and dependent on them to do something or not do something. Jimmy Carter continue what Johnson said. We're going to get these niggas to vote Democrat for the next 100 years. Not like we don't do anything. They're just going, and we're doing it. And defending Jimmy Carter is part of being a slave-minded black person, plain and simple. Um, we need to be more demanding. Jewish people don't let you wear swastika jewelry to their events. Even if you're an Indian and this you're Hindu, they'll just object to it, and you develop sensitivity to Jewish people not accepting certain things. It's a weakness, and it's a moral ethical cowardice that's intergenerational among black people that we accept and tolerate all kinds of just lame bullshit. Saying, well, this is the best, we got to do it. Sometimes strategically, yes, but all the time, it's no. That's like at a job. Always being the one that has to pick up and clean up after everybody else does not make that job a pleasant or happy one for you. Sometimes you can cover for other people. Sometimes you need to go and pick up the kids from daycare. You need a lunch break. You need a shit break. We need a shit break from the political process of always being used to vote and support and cry over people who don't care a damn about us not planning to. And Jimmy Carter He cared a little bit and talk about Jesus and shit. And how you talking about Jesus and you're a white supremacist? How you gonna talk about Jesus and you supported the genocide going on in South Africa and Rhodesia? And they punished black students for protesting against this. I know. I witnessed it. And all the black political prisoners and other people that were harassed when Jimmy Carter was running the Justice Department. So, the number of black political prisoners in this country was at its peak when Jimmy Carter was president. And Jimmy Carter did not pursue human rights in the United States for black Americans. Jimmy Carter did not pursue human rights for blacks in Haiti or Jamaica or Guyana. Jimmy Carter was not for human rights in the same way for black people as he was for white people, which is what we would expect. So let's not praise that and say how wonderful it was. And no, I did not brave my ass out in 20-degree weather to look at someone that lived to be 100 that didn't give a fuck about me. Let's stop Jimmy Carter. Let's talk about the damn fires in California because it's actually more relevant. And there is good news from the fire. The one good thing about the fire is that Hunter Biden's home burnt up. And I think that dude that's no good. Who's the one, the pedophile predator that was the one who's given all the money to Hillary Clinton? Come on, talk to me. What's this guy's name? He was injecting drugs in black men. They were dying in his basement and he's having sex with them. What's his
Oh
What's his
yeah,
name? Give me
yeah.
his name, dear. Tell me his name, dear.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
Now I
wait, wait,
forgot.
wait, 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 wait,
He
wait, wait,
done
wait,
it
wait,
to a
wait, wait.
lot of candidates
Hold
too.
on, I'm gonna get his name.
I know who you talking
I
about.
know his name. What is his
Yeah, he
name?
was he was killing black men in his sex department in L.A.
No, it's his house, man.
Yeah,
Killing.
no, he also had an apartment in L.A. He lured them in there.
His name's gonna
His
come
name,
to me.
I know he donated to Ted Lieu.
He also gave to Hillary too, and to Nancy
A
Pelosi.
whole bunch of people.
Drugs. His name's gonna come to me, and I don't know why. His name is, and it came out 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. Come on, give me his name. Ed Buck.
Yeah, everybody.
Ed Buckner. He's Jewish. It's a Jewish man that would have sex with black metrosexual men and kill them. Ed Buckner. And by the way, I do say the ethnicity of people when they commit a crime. Because you see,
Mm-hmm.
um, when a person commits a crime and they are black, if they're not black Americans, they don't talk about the crime much. The man in Louisiana that ran over and killed the people in the French Quarter was a North African. He may have been black, but he wasn't a black American. Notice how that crime has disappeared. When people from Africa, the Caribbean, or even the Pacific, Oceania, commit crimes in America, if they're Caribbean, but they do not talk about it. They are only interested in the crime if it is committed by a black American to vilify us as a group. Okay, they do not do that. When a Trinidadian man goes and murders people on the Navy Yard right here in Washington D.C., when he was Trinidadian, Aaron Alexis, that story disappears. When a Caribbean man shoots people on the subway in 2022 in New York, it ends. When the man lassos a woman like Roy Rogers and rapes her, he's from Belize, the story disappears. When a Congolese man rapes a woman on the subway, right? When they find out he's from Congo, the story disappears. When a drag queen person from West Papua, near Australia, murders multiple people in Philadelphia, when he turns out to not be a black American, the story disappears. I start looking at this saying, wow, when the man from Jamaica, Colin Ferguson, shoots and kills a bunch of white people in the Long Island Railroad, the story disappears. When the Sudanese man murders white people in Tennessee in 2018 and a church, the story disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still talking about OJ because OJ's a black American. And so, therefore, part of delineation is when a crime is committed. Um, if it was a Jamaican man, I'm not certain because he stabbed his girlfriend, one that got beaten to death in Marcy up in upstate New York. If this man was a Caribbean that stabbed his fiance and ended up being beaten to death by the police, notice the story disappeared. He may be a Caribbean. Had it been a black American, maybe it would have gone on. You see what I'm saying? We need to bring this out. And normally, when people do things, because this whole thing about anti Semitism, everyone all the time is attacking unfairly people who are Jewish. And there are people who are anti Semitic, we're going to admit to that, but there are also people who are Jewish who do things, who are in the monkey business. They hurt people, sell drugs like Ed Buckner did, and they destroy people. It should be said what they are because the people that run a lot of the media are Jewish. They're very quick to point out who people are when they're not in their group. But when it's one of them that does it, you don't hear anything. So we don't get that Harvey Weinstein is Jewish. And we're not really being told a lot about Epstein's island where Epstein is Jewish. And Wexner, who gave him the money, is Jewish. And we can go on and on and on and on about who is, right? And Clive Davis is Jewish. And it because when you say white, well, that's hundreds of millions of people. Which whites? I don't think it's fair to blame everybody that may have a certain skin tone for what an individual and a specific group within that larger collection of groups of people with lighter complexions. It should be said, not out of bigotry, but for clarity's sake. We had a situation here. There was a fight over a parking space, and a man got out of his car and stabbed a man and a woman, almost killed both of them. This was in Montgomery County, Maryland. It was never said, but I heard the name. The man's Jewish, who tried to kill two black people over a parking space. Now, had a black man gotten out of his car and cut up two Jewish people over a parking space, the whole world would have known that that happened. And I'm not saying to defend the black person that was wrong, but it's only fair that everybody be accountable. And if you do something wrong, you get called on it. I'm not bigoted because I happen to know who or what you are. And I want to make this plain. It's time for people to start paying attention. Don't just go, when the news won't give you the name, won't describe the victim, over several days, you know something's up.
Correct.
You know something's up. So Jimmy Carter, I want to talk to the young people because the boomer just really, man, boomer. He told me he's going to disappoint. He did that on purpose. That's okay. You can take your back of the bucket, take your back of the bus ass put aside. I want to talk to some young people who don't have the historical depth. Maybe I can get some conversation. Let me start with the black.
Let me just throw in this one thing.
Okay, you want to throw in? Okay.
Everything you said, we knew. We weren't fools.
I didn't say that you were a fool, but I did hear you say that you softened when he got older. To me, I didn't soften on George Wallace. I remember the day I heard he died. I mean, it put a pep in my step. I mean, bye. It was sort of like a hard bowel movement that could cause your hemorrhoids to bleed, and that shit came out, pop. You were glad, gone. The crap that refreshes.
No. See, the thing is, what you were saying, a whole lot of black people knew. You weren't fools.
Yeah, but
so that's why I said I'm going to disappoint you.
I think, but you're trying to. And that's what the older black people do sometimes. It's like y'all are trying not to give us what we need. I mean, you're trying too hard.
What you need to do, what y'all need to do is do what we did. Go out and confront these people.
I'll tell you.
Behind the computer.
Okay.
Why don't you go out there and do what we did?
Well,
fight in the streets.
my
None of y'all are doing that.
well, the younger people actually, the reason the young
No,
people
when
aren't
you do
doing it,
that, no,
the reason that they're
nobody's
not doing,
fighting in the streets.
I'll tell you why. The young people did fight in the streets, but the big problem is that you guys let the lesbians and the feminists and the gays and the other people take over education, have all those sissies in church and everywhere else, and they've hijacked the younger people. This happened on you guys' watch. You guys fumbled. You guys fucked up. You just did. I mean,
No, no, see, I'm not going to take that. I'm
it's
not
okay.
going to
You don't
take
have
that.
to take it. It's what happened.
No. See, that's an easy cop out. Because
And that's
number
not a
one,
cop out.
how many of these so-called wait a minute, you have to look at who went into education, who the black men who went in there and fought, and then when you talk to some of these intellectuals, hey, look, we need to go into the public school. Well, no, I'm on the college level. I'm about Marxism. So what happens is it's easy. I did not chide my parents for not going up against the Klan. This entitled generation.
We're not
Oh,
talking.
y'all didn't do this. No,
Okay,
listen, when you say
hold it.
y'all didn't do it,
You've
when
added.
y'all didn't do it,
You've
no, wait, when
added.
y'all said y'all didn't do it.
You
We didn't
have
let it happen.
added.
No,
You have
we
made.
didn't tell you to
You've
smoke
made a
weed. We
molehill.
didn't tell you to
We,
have a bunch of kids. We didn't tell
um
you to gang bang. We didn't
oh
say
my
that.
God. No,
Y'all
no, no,
chose that.
no, 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 no. Look,
Y'all
first
chose
and
that. So I'm
foremost.
not gonna see. That's an
No, no,
easy
no,
cop
no,
out.
no, no,
Well,
no, no.
y'all
Hold
didn't
on.
do
I
this,
want to
and
hear.
this is why we
I,
live.
I want to hear from some young people. First and foremost, I'm gonna just say this. I
Mm.
never told anybody to confront the Klan. I'm just saying we can be honest. Once someone's in a damn box buried somewhere, that they weren't full of shit. I mean, I don't feel mercy. I feel like they're gone. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, what a big shit it is. And just keep it moving, right? Instead of, well, they lived 100 years and my heart softened. No. My thing
That's not.
is,
No, it has nothing to do.
mm,
Listen. No, what you said, what you
mm,
were talking about,
mm.
everything that Carter was about, we knew. We protested against it. So we weren't saps like a lot of these educated folks.
Black people didn't protest.
No, that's so
Black
we
people
knew.
did not
We
fight.
knew.
Black people did not fight Jimmy Carter. Black people,
What do you mean? Were
black.
you there?
Yes,
Were
I
you
was
there?
there. I was there.
No, you
Yeah,
weren't even. No, you weren't. You
yes, I
couldn't have
was.
been.
I had to have
You
been.
couldn't
Yes,
have been.
yes,
You
yes,
weren't
yes,
in
yes,
in the Caribbean.
yes, I
When
was.
people were stopping the plane, when what you call it in Nigeria, when Martella was killed, it was because the black people in Nigeria, United States and Nigeria, protested that.
That's in
Protested
the
that. So
that's in the
no.
60s.
See, that's no.
60s. I'm talking
Now, it
about
wasn't
when
1960. Muhammad
yeah,
Martella is not in the 60s.
Muhammad
In the
Matula. If
60s,
you're
not.
talking about Biafra, Matula
We're
Muhammad,
not talking about.
Matula
Matella
Muhammad.
Muhammad is after Biafra.
Okay, but it may be before. It may be before
No, it wasn't.
Carter.
The Biafran War, it ended, I think it's in the 70s.
It ended in
72.
72.
72. Before Carter. When Henry Kissinger, when they wouldn't let the plane land in Nigeria, Henry Kissinger said, Muhammad Martella has to go. Number
Muhammad.
one, when Doug Hammarskjöld, wait a minute,
Oh,
when
hold it,
Lumumba
hold it.
was killed,
Okay,
wait a minute,
Murtala Muhammad
wait, no,
died
wait a minute. See,
died
let's stop.
February
You
13th,
weren't there. You weren't
1976.
there.
No, no, I
You
was
weren't
there.
there.
I was. I was.
You
I wasn't
weren't
in
at the
Nigeria.
United Nations Plaza.
I
Wait.
was.
You weren't at the United
I was
Nations.
here.
Listen
I
to
was
me.
here in D.C.
Listen to
when
me.
people were fighting each other on Howard's campus, Igbo and Yoruba, and folk jumping off of classroom
We're not
buildings.
talking about
No, but
that.
I'm talking about, you brought this name up, and I'm going to hold you to it. He died the 13th of February, 1976. Jimmy Carter was not in office a month when he died. He's not a good
Okay.
example. Pick another one.
Who
When
put him
Jimmy
in that?
Carter,
No, wait.
no,
Okay,
no,
wait,
no,
wait a second.
no.
Randy.
Jimmy Carter wasn't in the White House a full month when Matula Muhammad died.
Okay. Why did he
So,
die?
so regardless of why he died,
Why? No. Why was he
Jim, there was
assassinated?
no way, practically no way for you guys to protest Jimmy Carter. And the UN ambassador, was Andrew Young. I'm of a reasonable persuasion
Not
that
under that. Listen, brother, listen. Mohammed Martorella was killed on the order of Henry Kissinger.
okay,
Because they wouldn't let Henry Kissinger land in Nigeria.
I got that.
That's when the hit was at. That was not under Carter. I'm not because what happened.
I didn't say it was under Carter. I'm saying to you, but you were saying that there's a protest that occurred. Now maybe that happened. The protest of the assassination occurred while Carter was president, but it's very difficult to make that specific protest and link it to Jimmy Carter, who's just coming in.
No, I'm not talking about Jimmy. I'm talking about when people talk about the boomers didn't do this, the boomers. How do you think a lot of this stuff happened? Let me give you an instance. Doug Hammarskjöld, when Lumumba was killed, we went to protest at Doug Hammarskjöld's Plaza in the United Nations.
Yes, I'm familiar.
When was Lumumba killed? What year?
He was killed in 1961 or 60.
1961.
61.
Now, all of these people that talk about, the boomers didn't do anything, we tore the UN up.
Yeah.
We tore
Okay.
the UN up.
All right.
So I'm not going to take.
But that's over something that happened somewhere else. I'm trying in particular. We're doing delineation about what happened specifically in America.
Okay, let's go to America. When the New York public school system was shut down because they didn't have black studies.
Mm-hmm.
Who did that? Oh, the boomers let us down.
Right.
Those damn boomers that did it.
Yes, and even that is.
That were in the Panther Party.
Okay.
Damn boomers
okay.
that
All right.
We'll
We'll give you that, but that's not. But you're deliberately not hearing what I'm saying. I never discounted what people did as activists of that generation.
You said that the boomers let y'all down.
You're letting us down in the narrative. If you say Jimmy Carter, my heart softened.
What do you mean the narrative? That's foolishness, Randy. Because I said, look, the man died as he's 100. You're a Christian, brother. You're a Christian. You should value life.
I do value it, and I value it when it's over, too.
The man had a family. The man had grandchildren. So you're saying,
Asada Shakur has a family. Matula Shakur had a family.
And what did the people after the boomers
Geronimo
do for
Pratt
us?
had a family.
Wait a minute. Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. We were in there with Thomas Flechette, sending them shoes at San Quentin and things like that, helping the people that were in exile. So
that's a minority, and we're thankful for that minority remnant that did it. Most people don't do anything at any given time. But I'm going to come back to my point. Jimmy Carter, as far as black people goes, didn't get a whole lot of pushback. The people came in and said, he's our guy, give him a chance. And
who said he's our guy? Name the people who said he's
Andrew
our guy.
Young, Coretta Scott King, Jesse Jackass, and all the others. They were big Jimmy Carter.
Are they the grassroots people? Are they the masses of black people?
They had Daddy King and them did have some grassroots relevance. They did. There are people that listen to them. They were more relevant. They were more relevant 50 years ago than they are now. As time has progressed, they become more and more irrelevant. They're sort of like
Randy. The narrative you're putting down. He says, they were relevant. If they were so now, see, the thing is, when you want to correct it, see, it's one thing to run with one narrative. Oh, these people this and this and this and this and this, and then when someone checks it, says, oh no, that wasn't everybody. For example, when they booed Coretta Scott King.
Yes, that was beautiful.
No,
boo! That was beautiful. That was delicious.
You see, you talk about the disrespect for the black American.
She earned it that time. She earned it. They earned it. That was a great moment in Black history.
But it's like You feel good. It's like an ejaculation. Oh yeah, we did
Well,
this. So
everybody wants to ejaculate. I know that. Okay, keep going.
so what I'm saying is this: when we get into this so-called, we buy this the boomers. I don't know what the hell a boomer is. You can tell me what a boomer. Okay, what is that? You said boomer. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you how where I was, whether I'm a boomer, a fizzler, or whatever.
But
Have you.
forgive me, but
In
you know
battle,
what? You
listen,
sound very
soldiers.
you
So
you
now listen,
sound very
soldiers, brother.
you sound
No,
very
let me
defensive,
say.
and
Yeah,
nobody
no, I'm not
attacked you
defensive.
directly. I'm making a
No,
point
I'm not.
that
Randy,
that
you are my
and
best friend.
so if I'm your
You
best
know
friend,
that.
I'm not talking about you, and you know I'm not talking about
I know.
the good people that are older. I'm talking about the sorry ass people,
Oh,
who
please, they probably
the
Randy.
sorry ass majority.
They've been after you. They've been after you. The same people kicked you. They're the same people that kicked me. So what
I
I
didn't say
do
that they
is kind of
weren't. I'm simply saying what generation they came from. And
it doesn't.
the good news is this is 19, I'm sorry, this is
It's 20.
2025. And that means
Yes.
that for the first time in 6/10 of a century, the people of the X generation, fucked up though we may be, will be the seniors in the community be- because the other people are going on to glory, if they're going to
Yeah.
glory.
Yeah.
And it now behooves us to be real, and that's why I'm being real to the younger people. Jimmy Carter fucked us. Yes, he lived 100 years and he built some house, he did good, all that kind of stuff. Jimmy Carter fucked us.
Which president hasn't?
I didn't say I'm just trying to say we're simply talking about this one. Because when I see Negroes
So, so
groveling like they're fighting over Coachella tickets, to go to what to see
listen.
Jimmy Carter Lion State, I have to say we need to be honest about what we're crying for.
Did they cry for Roosevelt?
Yes. Now, what I will
Yes.
say, hold
The
on.
whole nation
Yeah,
cried
yeah,
for Roosevelt.
I don't mind that. And Roosevelt screwed us too. Now, the person that I was pleased to see black people cry over was when Rosa Parks died, and the people came. There were more people out for Rosa Parks than Jimmy Carter. So I say, way to go, black people, the send off that they gave Mother Rosa Parks.
You like that? Yeah,
Okay,
that was beautiful.
no, that was for Rosa Parks, yes. Love Rosa Parks. She's a beautiful person. If you ever were in her presence, she's a very
Oh,
wonderful person.
oh, she said.
Okay,
Listen now.
Rosa
The thing
Parks,
is,
we love. I mean, this is just she's this beautiful,
listen.
wonderful
We'll get into
person.
a
It
narrative.
was great,
We'll get
great,
into a
great.
narrative.
Rosa Parks, beautiful
See, the
woman.
whole thing is like the whole who's blacker than how? Who's the look? For example, Rosa Parks was mugged by who? Not the boomers.
Rosa Parks was mugged by niggers.
Okay, yes.
And
Now,
by the way, I don't. My issue is this, but I need to say this to you for this. Every generation has fighters, and every generation
yes.
has traitors. We may have more, but a lot
Okay.
of what has happened has been the failure of the generations before to create the
No,
institutions
no,
and the
no,
yeah, it's
no,
failure.
no, no, no,
It's a
no.
failure.
I'm not gonna give. I'm not
If
gonna.
you've got a car and you got to drive a certain distance and you don't fill the tank and it breaks down and you're the driver, you failed. Even if you got most of the way there, we aren't even most
Listen,
of the way where we need to be.
In Brooklyn, we created the institution of black educational
Yes,
institutions
and my
across
brother,
the country,
you're and I'm not taking away from you. I'm trying to say
now
to you
listen,
that
what
you
happened? Now, let me ask you this. Oh, we let you down. Wait a minute. When you went into the schools, when the young people went into the schools, what did they do? We said, look, this is what we've done. This is what you have to do. And what did you do? And then I'm just doing a blanket. Smoke weed and act stupid. So
okay?
now you're gonna blame us? You're gonna blame us for
Um,
not leaving you the institutions?
Believe it or not, when you send people to the white people's school, to the white people's
This
grocery
is
store,
not white people's school. We control the black education.
okay, you guys
We have
control. Okay,
institutions.
where
You
you
have
had
the University of Islam, the Uhuru Sasas.
Okay.
Positive Institute in Chicago.
Can we talk about the fire in Chicago, in California?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Let's talk about the fire. We can fight offline. I
The
mean,
thing is,
this.
I
I
don't,
mean,
no, no, no.
I don't
See,
want to
what I
lose
don't
my
want to
young
get
audience.
into,
All the young
no,
people,
no.
they'll
So
get
the young people,
frustrated.
this is what I tell the young people when I teach them, right? And I have the most of the people, most of the times I get fired because I have the most young people in my classes because I'm straight up with them. They
Hmm.
say, well, look,
And, and,
go
and
to that brother's class because he's not going to put you down.
hmm
He's not going to talk crap about you.
hmm
He's going to say, look, this is where we messed up,
hmm
and this is where you shouldn't
Okay, so hey, brother
go.
Boomer,
This is where
there's a
you shouldn't
comment
go.
from Global Pioneer. I'm not
Go
making
on.
people say these things. Global Pioneer says most of our elders are cowards. This guy is a contradiction. The 70s was full of hippies and drug addicts. And I could
That's
say
just,
sexaholics
wait a minute.
too.
What do you mean hippies? And
The
most black
70s.
people weren't into the hippies and stuff like that.
Well, were black
How
people?
old is that guy? I'll challenge you.
Were
How
black?
old is he?
How old are you,
How old
Global
is he?
Power? And well, weren't
No,
black people
ask
into
him how
sex
old is he?
back then? I mean, if we weren't into pussy in the 70s, a lot of people wouldn't be here. A lot of people were conceived listening to Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On." So I mean, I know the people at least.
That's a narrative. That's a
What did
narrative.
you like the song?
I love the song.
Okay, did you
I'm
conceive
partying
any children
and
listening
shaking my
to it?
behind and I was shaking my behind for the whole generation.
Okay, all
So
right.
what do they say? I accept that. But
Okay,
see, I don't accept people that weren't there, that didn't live it. They come up with this narrative. I heard this one guy, Dr. Joseph Purnell, was talking about the Panthers and whatnot. That Negro wasn't even born. And he said,
okay,
well, the research didn't say that. Oh, what do you mean the research? That means that someone had to write it down. So if you
okay,
didn't write it down, because you weren't there.
okay.
So you're
Now,
going on.
okay, so we've got this. Oh, Global Power said that I'm 40, and ask him
You
about
know,
free love and all that stuff. So people were
we
not.
weren't into that.
So you're
We
saying that
weren't into that.
you mean Negroes were wearing chastity belts in the 70s, brother?
Negroes were screwing their behinds off. They weren't into no free
And
love.
they weren't even getting
That's
abortions
that.
then. They weren't even killing babies like the
No,
exes.
look,
That's
black
new. Black
folks
feminism and all
have
that stuff
had
went crazy.
free sex just like now. It says, oh, that's the hippie movement. No, we weren't into the hippie movement.
Okay, so he
We
says
weren't
we
into.
weren't
See,
hippies.
that's a narrative that someone says, well, you're into free love, and so no, Negroes is just screwing. There's no free love and all. That's see. This is when you watch these documentaries. And he says, oh, everybody was doing this, everybody was doing that, and you say that was the whole generation. No, we were basically kind of counter the hippies.
Okay, all right.
Because
So
number one,
okay,
the
I
hippies
agree
were
that the counterculture was a largely white thing. I'll
those
agree
are
with you.
white thing.
I remember the hippies and folk having sex in front of the White House. I've seen some of it.
Yeah.
It's nothing like saying raggedy white bush as a child. Um,
No,
I
it's
could
still.
talk about that another time. Anyway, yes, people used to screw right across the street from the White House, and have the like psychedelic raps and stuff. I know you heard about that. That
Black
was really
folks in
wild. I'm
general weren't.
sorry. I'm sorry. People like have boobs and such hanging out. Um,
Yeah, so the brother who's 40, look, I love you, but what happens is you cannot watch these documentaries and listen to all of these people that are talking about stuff that were not. Okay, it's just like in the black community, someone gets shot.
mhm.
The news camera. I worked in the news,
You worked
and
in the
what would
news.
happen? The news would come out and say what happened, and they'd ask the brother. And the brother would say, well, the perpetrator shot someone and jumped over the fence. And they said, no, we don't want that. They get another person. Well, he was smoking crack, and our cousin, whose grandmama's father's, that's the one they put on the news.
Okay, I
So
agree.
you watch these documentaries,
Right.
and
Okay.
that's what you pick up.
So the narrative is there. The pioneer person said all you elders do is have us walking in circles. You love to march and you don't want to resist anything. Go along and get along, goofies. Now, I
Who
would.
was marching?
I know you
Who did I
guys
say
were.
anybody was marching?
I know you were rioting. So I mean,
Who
so
was
brother,
marching? That's
brother.
the net.
I know,
See, the
but
thing is,
but
these
see, I
brothers,
think he's talking about the silent generation people from the '60s and '50s. But that's okay. A lot of people don't know the
and they
difference
didn't
between the
march.
decade.
The black people back then didn't
Most
march.
black people did march. I agree.
They didn't
Okay.
march. Look, we had to raise. My father used to raise monies for Dr. King. Most black people were against Dr. King.
Wait a minute.
So
So you're saying black
now,
people didn't
no,
support
they
Martin
weren't.
Luther King when you were young?
That's right. That's right.
What was
I
Martin Luther King? What would they call?
go
How
back.
would they describe Martin Luther King when you were younger?
Well, they would say that his mustache. This is just street talk. His mustache made his lips look big.
Okay, so what else would they say about Martin Luther King other than he had a jacked up mustache?
That's about it. He wasn't on the radar.
What about Malcolm X?
He wasn't on the radar.
So they didn't know who Malcolm X is, and you lived in Brooklyn.
No, and they did not care who Malcolm X was because he was a Muslim.
Okay, so him being a Muslim wasn't cool. Okay,
No, not at all. Not even
so you
today.
mean you guys didn't want to sell bean pies back then?
He'd eat. No, some of us were even reluctant to eat bean
Reluctant
pies
to
or
eat them.
even read the paper, or
I'd
even
rather
touch
have
the
a fruit
paper.
pie anyway. Let's
Yeah. So,
talk about
so the
California.
narrative.
Let's talk about
Okay, and
California.
the thing is, so the thing is, what brothers and sisters, don't buy the narrative. Think and understand how your people or our people act toward things. Like people say, "Well, if I was back then, I would have been with Malcolm." I said, "Well, look, Farrakhan's here now. You can follow him, or I don't believe in that." I said, "If I'd have been back there, I'd have been a Panther." I said, "No, you wouldn't have."
No, you wouldn't want to be a Panther because they
No,
were
you
shooting
wouldn't,
them
because if you wore a leather jacket and a beret, they were arresting you.
or kill you.
Okay,
They could kill you for
kill you.
having the newspaper. People don't know
Yeah.
about. They don't know about. You
So
could
with
get
the
killed
narrative,
hanging out with the Black Panthers. A lot of people don't
brother.
even. A lot of people don't know about that. Now look, I want to talk about California. In
Oh
particular,
yeah,
I want you to talk about the people in California. What about this Uncle Fester-looking tramp, Karen Bass? This is
yeah.
the
That was
only
that.
good
That
thing
was
that's
that was.
coming out of this fire is that Karen Bass looks bad. I mean, I've been waiting for Karen Bass since 2013. And for brother Rosh Shabazz L, my email is everywhere. I would just say to you, common sense. Like, if people want to do a show or communicate and stuff, my email is all over the place. If people simply wanted to communicate and put up an idea, do a panel. In fact, we are going to have to do, brother, I want you to participate in Pat Talk. It would be nice to have someone above the age of 60 on Pat Talk. So,
What's that?
Pat Talk is where black men speak on issues. It is the very first anti
Okay.
feminist, pro patriarchal, black family, black freedom talk show
Okay, that's cool.
where feminism doesn't matter and it's never going to. So if you hate feminism, you've got to support Pat Talk. Brother Chef C has carried it throughout my lengthy illness. I hope it's ending. And so I've got to look at seeing if I can do a Pat Talk this Sunday and just have the brothers come together and some sisters. So you're welcome,
Yeah.
unknown sister in California, for us to talk about. And we're carrying on in the tradition of our great saint and elder brother. In fact, I have to have a communion ginseng drop to the name. How sweet the name is, like honey in my mouth. Saint Kevin Samuels, who died for the sins of feminism in the black community. Mm. Blessed be the
Came
name of
back to
those who
California.
Blessed be the name
California.
of
Let me.
those that come in the name of Kevin Samuels. We're going to keep his
Okay.
memory alive.
I thought. Now listen, Randy, and I know you'll be on this with the fire because the fires. I lived in California, and when the Rock King Rebellion happened, okay, It was mainly Mexicans tearing up the place and burning
Mexicans.
down the
But
place.
black people got the blame and we accepted it.
Black people got the blame. Black people got the blame, but it was that. Now, here's the interesting thing. I was reading the reports when I was there. It was in 90, 91. I forget what year. And they said the path of the burning, the house, the things that were burning, was the path they were putting in the rail lines. So they said they were clearing these businesses because of eminent domain. The people weren't selling them. So they said, well, look, if they're burned down, there's no way, you have no bar. We can put, I want to say bar, but that's San Francisco. I don't know what the LA thing is. So when I hear the thing of the, all of these fires in California, I've not followed it, but someone like you'll probably see the hand behind what's happening.
I don't know. This is why I wanted the two young people to speak because they're in California. One of them is dealing with
Yeah.
smoke inhalation. Oh, look,
Yeah.
Elaine Riddick. White
doing?
man to you, Sister Elaine.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, how's the fire treating you? In
I'm
fact,
here.
we don't like that expression, keep the fire burning right now.
Mm-mm.
Mm,
It hasn't been treating me very well because I've been sick the past couple of days.
sorry.
Sore throat, chest congestion.
Yeah.
I don't feel nauseated. I can't even walk around. I'm feeling like dizzy and stuff.
Do you have is your doors, do you have towels in front of your doors to screen out the air and your windows and everything?
Yeah.
Do you have an air filter? Do you have something that cleans the air, UV and some other stuff? Do you have a
Oh no.
humidifier? You need to invest in that stuff anyway.
Yeah. Get one of those. I forget which because I had several.
Ultraviolet light and other things. You need to clean the air.
Yeah, to keep that running. I forget what they call it. Because I had several. And at the end of the day, you'll see what it picks up because those fires, what happens is burning rubber, is burning steel,
It's
and the
burning
particles are so
plastics,
small.
the
Yeah,
particulates.
plastics,
That's terrible.
and the stuff is so small that it goes to the lungs and directly into the blood system. It's going. So people with diabetes, pressure, bronchial asthma, they're getting hit hardest
And I experienced
with
that
that.
from the fires in California. Kept me in for months. I couldn't go outside, start
Yeah.
gagging just being in the air for any period of time. Hi, Elaine Riddick. Elaine Riddick, you need to do a show with me. We got to talk about eugenics because everybody knows I hate abortion. Oh my God, I hate abortion. And we've got to take a stand against eugenics. Elaine Riddick, she's my cousin from North Carolina, and she knows about medical apartheid firsthand. We've got to do a show together. I got to get her with the different people. Elaine Riddick, I need to introduce you to Jaguar. You guys have to meet. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to do that. I'm going to send you a number, Elaine. You guys have got to meet some people. We've got to have this conversation. So, all right. Now, we haven't heard from the woman. We've been trying to get her to speak. So, all you feminists out there, notice I've handed the mic to the sister a couple of times. She has to like move with it. That's her fault. But she may have fallen asleep and she's got so many dogs in
No,
her house. Okay, so what's happening?
no.
Who? I mean, is
I,
this a fire being set by illegals? Is it Islamic terrorism? Is it white supremacists? Is it Black Rock? Is it
I,
White Rock?
personally,
Who's doing this?
person, personally, I think it's no. I was texting my cousin because she's really working. I have family still in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and so I can't stay on long because I gotta call her back.
Okay, that's okay. You're free to go. Then we can
But no,
just
no,
have.
but we'll talk now. But Right now, the Getty Center just evacuated and jumped to heading towards Encino and Brentwood. So it's getting bigger.
Do you think it's going to reach Neverland? Michael Jackson lived in Encino, didn't he?
Yeah, but that place is sold.
Mm.
It's not. I don't think it's in their family, but it's just, Karen Bass. She needs her ass whooped in the fire along with Gavin Newsom with the Peachtree Switch.
Mm.
And I've been tweeting this, and people really need to understand California politics and this long issue with water. I live in Southern California. I was born and raised here. I was born in LA. So the water issue between us Southern Californians and the Northern Californians is pretty much like the Union and the Confederacy. I mean, we're not Confederates down here, but you get what I'm saying. It's a battle.
Yeah.
Because they want to protect this little fish that looks like you get in a can of sardines. It's called the smelt fish. And you have these environmental extremist groups. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the environment. I like trees. I just got my yard cleaned and everything up. Gotta figure out if my orange tree is dead or not or sick. Then I have to go get another orange tree. But you have these extreme liberal white people that live in Northern California, actually, and they will lobby and they will hijack water and everything else to protect a three-legged ant. Okay? That's how loony they are. When I ran for Congress, and the first time I ran for Congress, and I brought up the point where my opponent, along with Nancy Pelosi, and I think it was Jerry Brown as well, they didn't want to pass a federal bill. It was called the Fire Protection Act, and I can find that information and send to Dr. Short. He can disseminate it out. And it was to clean up all the dead trees, the shrubberies, have the fire department, federal funding to clean up all the mountains to help prevent with these fires. I mean, we do it in our own house, we do it in our own yards, but they didn't want to do that because you have these extreme jackasses up north, these crazy white liberal people that believe you should have weeds and everything else, but it causes fires. Now, you do have another part of this with the water, because Northern California, that's where we grow our crops in Central California. So, like I was telling Dr. Short earlier, you have to remember, you have the Saudis have their crops, the Chinese have their crops, because the Saudis, they grow their alfalfa crops, and they hijack our water so they can have enough water to grow their crops.
And
so
also for Nestle and other people to send this stuff to China so the Chinese can have water.
And they send it back to their homeland. We don't eat this shit. So
okay.
It's like,
I just saw something from Elaine. They're saying a homeless man set the fire, this most recent thing. Is this?
Oh no, they've been arresting a lot of people. They arrested a woman. She's 16 years old. I'll send it again and find it. I'll send it again, and I'll send it to you, Dr. Short. They're trying to see if her name is Gloria something. And they're trying to see if she started all of this. See, you get these really crazy-ass people, liberal people, that, Trump has come into office, and only thing that these jackasses in Sacramento are worried about is Trump. We gotta protect California from Trump. See, and these stupid people will burn down our whole state thinking they're about to protect us from Trump. So you have a lot of mental illness here.
Mm-hmm.
And I even thought about this when all this broke out. But BlackRock, they hit a lot of, they pretty much wiped out all of the celebrities' homes in Malibu and different places, in Pacific Palisades. I used to hang out there. My family, we used to always go out there and gawk at the big old homes and stuff. It was exciting. It was a thing to do. But when they hit Altadena, I said, wait a minute. Geography-wise, if you know California geography, to go from Pacific Palisades to and Malibu and then jump all the way to Pasadena and Altadena, that's an arsonist. and they
Uh-oh.
targeted a predominantly historical black neighborhood.
Hmm.
Okay, now
And
look.
Altadena especially, they targeted that. Now, those houses are generational houses.
Mhm.
The grandson of the founder of Nickerson Gardens, he died in his house. And they're very nice homes. They're historical homes.
Tell me
And they're for
something.
middle working class
What
homes.
about this guy with the flamethrower that was setting
I haven't
fires?
seen that.
I'm looking at it right now. The man tried to escape, and let me see.
Well,
They
they
got this
rented a
guy.
man, and
He
I
he
sent it
looks
to
like he's
you.
an
He looked
illegal.
Middle Eastern.
He
He
looks
looked Middle
he
Eastern.
looks
He
illegal.
didn't look at, yeah, he wasn't, but he looked Middle Eastern. Like he came from somewhere, or well, he isn't illegal.
They
But
haven't given his name. That now they're protecting because if this guy is an illegal man, these deportations, if they're illegal, setting all this stuff on fire, do you think this is going to help Trump's deportation plan?
you will even probably see the most liberal celebrity try to take their asses back to the border because you done fucked up their houses, multi-million-dollar houses. They don't give a shit if it hurt a black community or Hispanic poor working community. But when you started burning down Paris Hilton's house and Mel Gibson and all of them other people's houses, they're pissed. Those are 40 million, 30 million, $20 million mansions.
Homeless
So you're
man
seeing the
with
pattern. You're
blowtorch
seeing
in
the pattern,
L.A.
right?
You see the pattern. But I also said this, mark my word, BlackRock has been buying up all the real estate. They know the real estate down here in California. We have the highest real estate in the nation when it comes to money. Now, when it starts jumping to Beverly Hills and shit, that's where the FBI needs to come down here and say, what the hell is going on? Oh my God, I'm watching this whole entire mountain burn. See, I'm watching the local news. I'm not watching
Oh,
Fox or
I'm looking
CNN. I'm
at this
watching my local
dude.
news.
My God, let me zoom up on the face.
But this is what I want to say before I get off and I call my cousin back because she on panic mode. When the chief of the fire department, Christine Crawley, I think that's her name. I was watching CNN at the time. I'll go back and
He
forth.
doesn't look Middle Eastern. He looks like he's Venezuelan.
You know, okay, yes, yeah. And she laid it out about Karen Bass. She didn't say Karen Bass's name, but she laid it out and said how they cut 100 million. Well, Gavin Newsom cut 100 million from the fire department. Karen Bass, they cut 17 points, so let's round it up to 18 million from the LA Fire Department. So when the chief gets on TV, that white girl did not care. She threw Karen Bass way underneath the bus.
By the way, how
And
many people?
I loved it.
Okay, now I was looking at Elon Musk blaming black or DEI for the fires. You know,
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
Elon Musk is a racist
I call
monster.
him Elon Apartheid.
I call him eat my butt.
That's a good one too. Apartheid Musk. That's who he is. He's racist.
What does
He's
KPFA have to Pacifica Radio? Are they reporting on that?
I don't have that.
KPF, KPFK. It's another KPF. Oh God, there's one. It's Pacifica Radio.
yeah. That may be up in the Bay
That's
Area.
probably north. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bay
that's the
Area.
Bay Area.
But they
I
have
think
to
it's
report it from-
KTLA. I think it's the one you're talking about.
KPFA is in the north.
I said KTS in Tom, LA.
Okay, so they're the same station as the Pacifica Network.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments because I'm on your channel. Yeah, China owns a lot of Santa Monica.
Yeah, and
They
this
do.
is the Maca girl or Mocha girl, Karen
Monica
Bass.
girl. Yeah, I loved it too.
Karen
I
Bass.
loved it when she
Karen
threw her
Bass is
underneath the
Karen
bus.
Bass is full of shit. Karen Bass, by the way, hi Michelle N on this channel. Karen Bass has been an enemy to black people her whole career, and I've been saying this,
Was
and
she
people think
ever married to a black man?
no, she is married to a Latino that looked like an old El Paso logo, and
Oh, Lord.
I'm just saying, and just she's terrible. Karen Bass has never been aggressive. She laughed in black people's face, and when she was wearing that Cuban gangster white men's suit to the debate, I mean, what kind of woman wears a double-breasted men's blazer to an event? I mean, she
Shabazz
was.
has a great point. I was going to talk about the insurance companies. Yep, they canceled the insurance, but now the insurance commissioner in California is making them reinstate the insurance and have a moratorium. It's hard to get homeowners insurance here in California now.
Mm.
They don't want to pay. They rather not to pay and let these Chinese CCP investors and BlackRock buy us all out and kick us out of California.
Well, I'll tell you something. And what about the tsunami that they're talking about for the Bay Area? Who's hearing about
Well,
that?
we had an earthquake.
Yeah, you've had several earthquakes. You're always having them.
But it's right now San Francisco just had a earthquake.
Somebody's talking about Elon Musk is a European African. They don't call themselves African. Elon Musk is a Jewish South African. He is not a real African, and they don't live as Africans in South Africa. In fact, they're trying to break the country of South Africa up into a white country, a white dominated country, and a black country. Elon Musk is just not someone we should be very concerned about. I think Donald Trump is going to be forced to drop him like a red hot potato with AIDS. He's going to have to get rid of him and get rid of Scamaswamy, or as I call him, vasectomy. These people are no good, and I don't think this thing is going to last. I want to.
Well, vasectomy's been very quiet after he told white people they dumb and lazy and can't get in tech.
Well,
they chewed his ass out.
It's good that the white people, but what bothers me is black folk don't go after anybody anymore. I mean, the closest I saw to that, some people said some stuff back to Ofaga back a few months ago. But back in the 70s, this is what I will say about boomers in favor of our elder on here. The old days, black folk used to raise hell against people with more regularity against people that offend us. These days, nobody says or does anything. It's disgusting. Nobody fights anymore. Everybody here just basically says, who do I have to bend over for? I mean, proof of that is the Diddy phenomenon. And right now, altogether, we've got 99 people listening.
Yeah.
Now we have 93, and the number will go up and down. We need to do more of these. In fact, Brother Mark, I want to invite you to participate in Pat Talk. And I'm going to stop in a little bit because I have to do a sermon tomorrow where we'll talk about God. I can't wait. But I want everybody to know I got a new router, which is more effective.
You did?
I got the new router, and I also have to see what I can do. I have a backup Ryoko just in case this thing acts right, to try to have the option to be at war with these people in case they mess with the coverage here. But again, Pat Talk is upcoming. Salt will be tomorrow about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Can I
And
say something, Randy?
go ahead.
I want to talk to the young people. y'all are doing great. Keep the fight. The ones who are fighting, keep fighting. You have a lot to do at your disposal, like this. Doing on this podcast, I've never heard of anything like this. So, like you young people are turning it out. So I don't jump. I don't say, well, y'all don't do this. Look, the ones who are out there swinging and fighting, I'm with you. Like my daughter said one time, she was going to a protest. She said, "Daddy, you going to go?" I said, "Why wouldn't I go?" She said, "Because you're old." I said, "That don't mean." I said, "If I was fighting in the 50s, what makes you going to think I'm going to stop fighting in 2000? Either you're a fighter or you're not." And just like I was talking about, just to throw the thing on Carter, whatever, that's not my, but as a soldier, when you're in battle and you kill the enemy and you see his body, you do not denigrate his body. You say, well, look, the man was my opponent. He fought. He's dead. I got to give him honor. It's the cowards that desecrate bodies. When you see these people in the Middle East drag people through the street, that's coward. That's not a soldier. That's not a fighter. That's a savage. This is why in the military, all of the marks, all of the regalia is in every army. So if you see someone, let's say in Korea, and they have a certain amount of bars, you say, "Oh, that was a sergeant." And you know that you've gone through the same life and death ritual. Because when you go and when you learn to kill somebody, you got to remember that the person on the other side learned to kill you.
That's right.
It's just like the Siamese fighting fish. They'll fight, and then when one gets tired, they'll rest. And then they'll go back to fighting. So this is the perspective I'm coming from. Carter, whatever, okay, let him rest in peace. His judgment, whatever. That's not my, that's not for me to judge. He will be judged. Just like I will be judged. I got to meet my maker. And everybody has to meet their maker. So this is what I'm saying. The young people, I'm not into this boomer, this X. Hey, look, I know a lot of young people that are into a lot of crazy stuff, but are doing some good stuff on the same end. So I don't separate myself. They may say, "Man, what's this old gray-haired man out here doing?" And look, I'm gonna fight until my eyes close. But, I don't retire. Now, there's some people that should retire, that need to sit their butts down.
Well, they do. Oh,
And,
so
and take a
so
chill pill.
now tell me, can you join us for Pat Talk tomorrow, 7:30?
At night, call me.
Yes, I'll treat you like your white elder. We'll treat you like
Well,
Colonel.
look.
We'll treat you
And
like
let me
Colonel
tell you something about
Sanders.
my relationship with Dr. Short. I'm going to say it over there. I love Dr. Short. Dr. Short is my spiritual advisor.
Oh God, that's scary.
No. Well, that's for you scary, but for me, it's essential. You'll notice that when I'm hitting a crisis, and I'm older than him, I said, "Doc, what's the scripture say? Show me this, show me that." Because we forget that Short is a man of God, no matter what I've been through all the religions. So, and you see this man he don't see it. He don't see it. He's getting his butt kicked for a reason. He's getting his butt kicked. The opposition is coming against him. We got to support him. Yes. We got to support, whether we like it or not. I laugh at some of his antics and things like that. Listen, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm not criticizing him. What do you think of Dr. Short? He's a man of God. Leave him alone.
But I want to tell you, gentlemen, I enjoyed it. Yeah. So we will reconvene.
We will reconvene, and we're going to have Salt tomorrow, and we can do a Pat Talk. And I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with, I want to say to you, Sister, I need you to get with I need you to get with with me. We've got to look at how we can leverage this star power for black veterans. Imagine the black vets and
Yeah.
homeless people amidst these
You know
fires.
what? You know what?
These homeless
That
black people are in a lot of trouble
you
in
must
LA.
have been reading my mind. Because that came across my mind today, and so we will brainstorm.
Yeah,
We
'cause,
will brainstorm.
I run into a lot of vets, young,
I'm a vet. Yeah.
young from the Iraq War, and their minds got blown. Their minds got blown. Now, one generation didn't talk about it. You're not gonna see too many people from Vietnam talking about. The only time people, vets from the Nam or World War I or the Korea, will talk to somebody is someone who's been there.
Correct.
You don't hear any more stories.
My grandfather, he served 3 wars: World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
Yeah.
But when we met another gentleman, or even sometimes a woman that served, he will start running his mouth.
Yeah.
Mm.
Otherwise,
we're more outspoken now. Because I deployed too. We're more outspoken. We don't care. We want to tell everybody our issues, our stories, our PTSD, our depression, our everything.
And because a lot of times I run into a lot of vets who have it, and I died. I said, well, this one guy, he's 40, he's 42. I said, wow, living in the van, living in the van.
That's a practice. But we'll talk more on it because I'm waiting for the IRS to give me my nonprofit status. I started a nonprofit for homeless veterans. It's called Sheltered Valor.
Michelle Michael McCrae, all of these folks on here. So look, it's what time? Now it's 12:44. I say let's run this to 1 o'clock. Let's hang in here for 16 more minutes. And okay, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna call my cousin back. She on panic mode.
Right. Okay. Treat me white, dear. Love you.
Yes, I will.
All right. Bye bye.
God bless. Be safe, everybody.
And someone is saying Westland Development Corporation CEOs. This is what Right to Right is reporting. Westland Development Corporation CEO and a few employees also been arrested in connection to the fires. My God, if this is true. Black vets need representation. Black people, all of us need it, and positive representation. Elaine Riddick, you should join me. I'm going to call you. I've got to figure out how we can have Elaine Riddick. Elaine Riddick is awesome. Elaine Riddick. Look up Elaine Riddick if you don't know who's on the chat with us. Elaine Riddick. 1:30 tomorrow. We'll do salt. 7:30 tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can do a Pat Talk. I had so many wonderful additions to my library. I try to figure out something to share from some of these. See if I'm up to it. I feel a little better. I hope, let's hope that this thing is getting in better, this whole thing. We need to get active, but I'm so glad I got the heat on because it was cold. Who's cold out there? Who's cold? Is it cold in Georgia? It's cold here.
Well, it's cold out here. It's 50 here, so that's it's not cold for me, but for
50 is wonderful. I don't mind 45. I'm talking about 25. Damn.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, the ice won't even go away. It's so cold. We need it to get above freezing.
I want to thank everybody who's on the chat. I don't know who you are. I mean, it's just
we're gonna improve it. We're gonna
wrap my head around when you told me that there's so many people were listening.
Right.
I said, what?
Well, right now we've got 78 or more people listening. which isn't a big. I haven't fought to have, and people bother my channel. I'm shadow banned, and I haven't really. I didn't announce this because when I announce, then they make it harder for me to get online. And so people wonder why I just do stuff. We have to force it out. We have to force this out, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, y'all got snow in Alabama. We're expecting snow.
It's
Uh,
snowing in Atlanta. It's snowing
oh
in Atlanta.
God, it's cold. Well, this is what I'm going to say to everybody. I am looking soon. I want to get with Sister Zima because we had promised to talk about herbs and other things. And
Oh man.
man, they gave us such hell getting online. All of the people that participate in Pat Talk, we've had problems getting online where you can't, they can do that, where you can't get online to broadcast. So it isn't that we didn't want to do it, and you get frustrated fighting to get on. Like I
Yeah.
would sometimes sit 3 hours waiting for the thing to download. That 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 caused me to not want to be bothered. Some people can do this constantly every day. They love it. For me, I could do it some of the time, but I don't get motivated if I have a whole lot of problems getting on. It used to be very easy, then it got very difficult. But I want to
Doctor,
encourage
keep doing
everybody
what you're doing.
to share
Keep doing what
this
you're doing,
channel. We're going to
please.
have some other people. We're going to have, we've got to follow this California fire. We're going to talk about the inauguration coming up. We got to talk about Elon Musk. We got to talk about different things. I've got a bunch of books on white nationalism in terms of whites in the police department that hate black people. There's a lot to talk about. And of course, join us for people that are Christians. I mean, it's right now, these days, black folks have gotten really stupid. Boomer X. Folk act like God and the Christian thing has nothing to do with the black experience. There are a lot of stupid ass people in our community that think God is dead and think it has no relevance to their lives. And that's what's messed up with us. If I could point to one thing that's jacked up about black people that's completely preventable, is the absence of a belief in God and practice of the second commandment. I will be continuing tomorrow about 1:30 Eastern Standard Time my series from Salt Ministry, Message to Black Americans. And you'll find them, they're all on the Angry Black Man channel. If you go to the Salt channel, they always lock those, so I'm harassed and shadow banned. I'm not paranoid, they just keep doing what I'm doing. I've been doing this for about 7 years of this stuff. We'll be doing more, and since it's cold and there's time, and wow, I'm fully disabled, so I don't have to get up off my ass to do anything but read and talk. I even want to share some things with you from my audiobooks because we're going to get into talking about the occult and the Black American experience and the negative things about the occult. Also want to talk about feminism. It's evil. I hate feminism. It needs to be destroyed. You need to hate it too. A black man that likes feminism is a black man that's a traitor. A black man that likes feminism hates black men, hates God, hates the black unborn, hates black babies, and hates being a black woman. Feminism is one of the absolute worst things in our community. It has to be destroyed. Black race and feminism can't coexist. In fact, feminism in reality is white female supremacy masquerading as an empowerment strategy for women, which it is not. It's a program to kill black children and all other children. And it's witchcraft and it's satanic. And that's why, yes, I'd rather be a Christian than be a feminist or be in any of these little stupid cult groups that aren't going anywhere. So let me see how many minutes we have left. We have 9 minutes. You guys know how to write me. I'm at DrRandyShort at gmail.com. You know how to write me. You know how to write me. I'm at DrRandyShort at gmail.com. That is my direct email that I respond to. That is a Zelle account. That is my PayPal account. And if you want to do stuff, I've got a Venmo, which is Dr. Randy Short. I've got a Patreon, which is Dr. Randy Short. I've got a Cash App, Dr. Randy Short, and do something. If not, just share. For all of the older people that love snail mail, when it warms up, I will go out to the post office and get me a box so we can trade letters. I'm hoping this year, if I can stay focused, to set up a website. Actually, I have a website, but to post more, to put more things down, give things, in fact, find a way through some of the other platforms to get the stuff out. Keep your eyes peeled. I don't know how exactly, but there is a discussion between my production team and the great outspoken Jaguar Wright. And now I won't be talking about dating them. I don't care that much. But to talk about human trafficking, what's happening to our women, our children, predators attacking, this is something I hate. I hate trafficking. I hate people preying on babies. And I see this as a wonderful honor to be able to help bring attention to the least of these that are being victimized. And as much as I hate feminism, notice that the feminists aren't speaking out against the pedophilia movement or against the mass trafficking of black women and girls or the abortion that targets us. We would be 120 million people were it not for Planned Parenthood and feminism and abortion. We would be a third or more of the American population. We are suffering from killing unborn children. We talk about needing numbers, and we're expecting people from other countries to be on our side, and yet we kill our own and think people their numbers are going to add to ours. We're not white people. We're not in the dominant group where people want to join up with us. Only way we're going to join is if we have our own children, have our own families, and create the infrastructure to support families and all of that. It's up to us. We do need reparations, but reparations begins with the second commandment, love neighbor as self. That means love everybody, but start amongst your own. So, by the way, nobody's going to ever get me on here to say I hate this group or that group. That's not true. I'm very honest. I grew up being taught that your family is of Indian, African, and European and other origin. So I never thought of there being races. There's a human race with different types of people within it. That's what I say privately to people. I don't do it. But I do know that there are people who buy into this idea that they're separate races and treat people unfairly. I'm not patient with it. I won't stand for it. Don't bring it to my platform, and I don't take it to anyone's platform. I've never gone to anyone's platform of any other group and gone and insulted them. Even if I didn't like them, I would figure it rude. Let those people who are different from you talk to each other. It's their right. And I reserve that right on this platform. So this is a space where you can come in. And, I was talking to my cousin, who's a former mega pastor for the Potter's House in Denver. And, when black people go to a mixed church, or if they have a church that becomes mixed, they can't talk about black issues because it offends other people. To me, damn it, get out of our presence if we can't talk about who we are. Because trust me, going to a white or any other, they're going to talk about their issue. We have to learn how to command psychic spiritual space. This is something the least you could do is carve out a space mentally, spiritually, where you have a right to exist, a right to protect self, a right to prosper, a right to communicate with the Most High, and get along with your friends, family, neighbors, and other like-minded human beings. So I want to remind you, I support reparations. I support the family. I absolutely love Wazi's sister, unknown sister in California. We will be talking about health. There's so many things. I'm waiting. I'm hoping for a big reveal at the beginning of February so I can talk to you guys about things that I've been trying to do to address the big C. And just maybe there's some progress, I hope. So anyway, It's time for you guys to get some sleep. But if my modem's going to work, if I just jump up in the middle of the night and start sharing something like I used to do, which I enjoyed doing, and tell these deep state people, you have to understand X Infinity and Comcast and all these other people work at the intelligence agencies, they mess with people's platforms. And that is to prevent this conversation. You would think we were talking about harming somebody. You would think that we're saying hate your neighbor or do something. I don't have these kind of conversations, even privately with people. But I want to say to you that people are that afraid of what opening your mind, thinking, having community, respecting self, looking out for self, how that bothers people.
Oh yeah.
That bothers people. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm already considered some kind of source for potential terrorists. I don't know anybody that's trying to do anything against the United States government. I wouldn't associate with anyone that was doing anything against the United States government. Black, white, polka dot from outer space, never. Or any other government. I'm not trying to do anything against the government of Israel. I don't want people getting bombed or killed anywhere. But I do think everybody is obligated, because I'm a Christian, to the second commandment to love neighbor as self. And if a neighbor won't respect you, you may have to protect yourself with deterrent force or self-defense. That person that wouldn't respect the other brought that into being. Everybody has a right to self-defense. A bee has a stinger, a praying mantis has claws, a spider can bite, and people can fight. And anyone that wants peace in the world will live peaceably, will be respectful towards others. And that's all I talk to people about. And if that's a threat to anyone, they're of Satan, they're Luciferian, they're of the devil. And not only are they're gonna fail in this life, because empires rise and fall, whether you have nukes or not. And to hell you go if you're not right with God in the book of life. I've said what I had to say. It's 12:59. I'm Dr. Randy Short. You know how to contact me, wrandyshort@gmail.com. That is a PayPal, a Zelle, my direct email. The Cash App is Dr. Randy Short. The Venmo is Dr. Randy Short. The Patreon is Dr. Randy Short. If you don't do it this month, some month do it. It's all good. I thank all of the wonderful moderators, Brother Mark, Brother George, Sister Star, and all the other people that allow me to do this, because there are lots of people that say all kinds of rude stuff. Good night. I love you. God bless you. I hope we meet soon. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Stay on with me, Jackson. Stay on. I just wanted to brief with you.
Okay.